Welcome back to the Baseball Rundown. Ryan Lombardi alongside Coach Razz as we dig into the final episode of the Baseball Rundown of the fall. And looking forward to the holidays and all that. But welcome, Coach Razz. How we doing?
I'm doing great. Today is the first day of week without the guys. So, we've been going strong since August. So it's a weird feeling not having anything really on the calendar this week. And it's been busy, full, but it's been great. It's been great. It's good chance to take a deep breath.
Definitely a nice time to relax, have the holidays. Thanksgiving's on Thursday. Christmas coming up shortly after that. So definitely a good time to have a break and kind of settle down for a minute. But not so much because you got a lot of new recruits that just signed last week.
I do. Yeah, it was a busy week. It was a busy week. Excited for Thanksgiving too, though. Probably might be my favorite holiday.
Valid.
I do like Christmas. Thanksgiving's a good. Big part is I got a big turkey bowl to play in, so I've been getting a little extra training in, getting the arm ready to go.
Are you the quarterback of the turkey bowl?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah. Long standing game at 9 a.m. on Thanksgiving morning. So never know what kind of weather you're going to get either. We could have some possible snow, so that could make things interesting.
I do have a turkey bowl of my own, but I actually broadcast the turkey bowl instead of playing it. I realized I'm not good enough at football, so I decided to take my talents elsewhere and sit this one out for the last few years.
That's a big plus, though. That's pretty cool.
Oh, it is fun. We just have fun with it. We hit the turf Wednesday night, had a little fun with the guys, but it's always good.
Love that.
Yeah. But digging into this first signing, let's talk about Ty Corey, left-handed pitcher from Phoenix, New York. What do you got about him?
Well, I think the one theme that you're going to hear me talk a lot about when discussing this recruiting class is size and being physical. I think that we look to identify guys that have a good frame to them, something that we feel like we can build on, that kind of come in ready to compete just from the physicality point of it. And Ty kind of starts that off for us, right? I mean, 6'2", 195 pounds. I think as a left-handed pitcher kind of jumps off the chart right off the bat, right? Before even looking into his numbers, and his numbers are crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking at his numbers right now. 58 innings pitched with a 1.09 ERA. He also threw 2 no-hitters in high school. So this guy, pretty dominant stuff on the high school level.
Yeah, since he was a freshman. I mean, really. So he's logged a lot of innings in high school for sure. But he's a guy that works with Eddie Gray in Syracuse Sports Zone Academy during the summer. And Eddie Gray is a former pitcher here for the Bonnies. So, it's somebody that we know has been taken care of and used the right way, making sure that they get proper rest. So he's had some innings on his plate, but, he's healthy. And he has shown the ability to know how to pitch. And when you get that much work on the mound, guy's going to come in with a good feel for pitching, right? Like he's going to have good feel for the zone. He's got experience. He's been the guy. He's going to be the guy for 3 years on his high school team. So that pressure of being the top guy, I mean, he's been dealing with it for a long time. So, yeah, he's great kid, very smart, great grades. I mean, he's really the perfect fit for us. And he knew it a long time ago. I mean, this is a kid who committed verbally last year. So, we had to wait a long time to get it on paper, but, he knew last summer, after, that this was the place he wanted to be. So when it matches up like that and they have the right makeup and they know that this is the place that they're looking for, that's always a big bonus for us.
Definitely. And you mentioned he fills up the zone. I mean, he had 320 Ks compared to just 54 walks in those 3 high school seasons. So pretty dominant stuff from him. Another member, Chris Florentino, an outfielder from Hazeltown, Pennsylvania. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, Chris is a guy that was recommended to us from his summer league coach, and he made it up to a prospect camp and we've seen a lot of film on him and have watched him, and the measurables jump off the chart. He's big, he's long and lanky, he flies. I mean, he's so fast. The arm's probably something that he can work on a little bit. There's some throwing fundamentals I think that we can clean up, but it was still decent even with bad mechanics. So, the hitting piece is there. His fundamentals at the plate are very similar to what we look for. So that stuff matches up. So there's just some small tinkering with him that we think that it could even make his game even better. So, he's the type of kid that we think can come in here and develop very quickly and be able to give us some depth in the outfield in all three positions. I think that he could play center field, left field, and right field. Great kid, was, all state last year, can flat out run. And he can hit for power too. So he's a total package. I mean, he's definitely somebody that has the talent. If he puts it all together, he could have a big impact here for multiple years.
Definitely, and just adding that versatility of speed and power, definitely going to be big for this program. Tell me about Eamon Giblin from Syracuse.
Eamon,
sorry.
Yep. So Eamon is summer league teammates with Ty Corey.
Okay, there we go.
So those two have been with each other for a long time, and we have Syracuse Sports Zone kids here already. So I think with the connection with Eddie Gray, and that program being here, Eamon, another one. He knew last summer that this was the school that he wanted to be at. He has been all about the Bonnies for the last year. Like he loves this place. He's super excited to get here. And he is just a flat out athlete. I joked with him because his parents talked to me about where do you see Eamon playing in the future? It's like somewhere, it could be third, it could be short, it could be second. I'm sure he could catch. I think that he could play all three outfield positions. He can get on the mound. He gets on them. I mean, he pitches. He's a kid that I think we'll look at being a dual player for us. If we have this roster cut down to 34 next year, we're going to need some of those guys that can do both. And I think Eamon is somebody that we definitely think can do that. But, he's a very good athlete. He loves to compete. I heard stories about him when he was a kid in travel baseball. His older brother would be playing, and Eamon's on the kid in the backfield organizing a wiffle ball game and getting that thing organized and just dominating at that, right? I think if you played kickball, he would be the first pick. He's just that kid that loves to play, loves to compete, and just wants to, get out there and get the blood pumping. I mean, you could see it in his photos. The kid loves to compete, and he's very talented. He's fast. I love the versatility that he gives us, where he could be a plug and play guy at multiple positions.
And having that love for the game. Obviously, everyone that plays loves the game, but some people just love it a little bit more, and just that extra, having that heart for the game definitely has an impact. I mean, you look at his high school numbers last year, 508 average. That jumps out to you big time. And he also had 21 stolen bases, so definitely a good amount of versatility there.
I think when you see the numbers of these guys in this recruiting class, it's not average.
Yeah.
It's way above average, right? It's crazy numbers. And I think that says a lot about, they're ready. And these are junior seasons, right? They have a whole nother season their senior year. It just tells you that they're really close to being ready for the next step now. Their numbers are already there. The next step is let's take a step up in competition and see what the numbers look like, right? They've checked all those boxes, and he's just another guy where those numbers are they're crazy, right?
Yeah, a 508 average is just so unusual in a game where if you get a hit 3 out of 10 times at the plate, you're going to the Hall of Fame. So, no, absolutely unreal. Tell me a little about Jack Kelly, the right-handed pitcher from Rochester.
Well, that's Selena's high school. So it's always good to go back to the place that's produced some talent. And Jack's one of those kids, man. Jack has a chance to be a very good pitcher in the future at the college level. He's already a very good pitcher in high school. But he comes from a good program. Again, the body is just something I'm really excited to work with. He's long, he's lanky, it moves well. There's no funky parts of his delivery. But he's got a lot of experience. You know, those guys that have been on the mound a lot, have pitched a lot, have a feel for the zone. You know, he's going to pound the zone. You know, he's got good stuff, and I think it's stuff that's only going to get better. He's, you know, another fantastic kid, great grades. I think he's the perfect fit for this place. I really do. Love what Jack brings to the mound.
Yeah, and I mean the legacy you talk about with Selena, coming from Selena's high school as well. Definitely those two. Well, obviously we don't know where Selena will be next year, but having Jack
I don't
Kelly
think
come
they're
in.
going to get to play together.
Yeah, I don't think so. I just thought about that. He's only a junior, but
yeah, no. But James Capilupo, they're from the same area.
Yeah.
James knows them. You know what I mean? So like, there's guys here from the Rochester area, and you know, I think we take a lot of pride in that too, right? Like, this recruiting class got a couple guys from Syracuse. You know, Rochester we've been really strong in recently. Albany's an area we want to be strong in. And, you know, Carruthers came from Albany, so you know, Albany, Syracuse, Rochester, that's going right across the middle of the state. You know, I'd like to see us get more successful in Buffalo, but sometimes you just get lumped into a group there. So, you know, we've done a really good job staying Central New York and grabbing some talent from those three areas. You know, and Jack's just another product of that.
Love that. And then another player, let's talk about Kenny Mapes, the first baseman from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Kenny, again, physical, right? 6'3", 215 pounds. He's a kid that maybe gets looked over a little bit because he plays for a little bit smaller of a high school. I just love the way that kid moves, right? Like, he is so smooth. It's not frantic, right? Like, it's smooth and quick. And I think that, you know, it may take him a little bit of time to develop and catch up to the speed of the game. I think that's going to be, the physicality is there. So it's not like he's got to come in and put on a bunch of weight to compete here. It's going to be more about catching up to the speed of the game. But I think he's the type of kid that's going to be a grinder. You know, I think he's going to grind until it catches up. And, you know, again, I like the projectability of him. I like the makeup, and I think it's a good fit for what we are. So, you know, sometimes you got to go grab the guys that, you know, catch your eye a little bit, and hopefully, you know, it works out for them. But he's one of those kids. He caught my eye, somebody that we kind of studied for a little bit, decided to make a move on, and, you know, we're able to bring him in to help out.
I love that. And I mean, like, sometimes those could be the best. You know, you take a chance on a kid just because you have this gut feeling, and it could turn out to be one of the best decisions you may make.
Yeah, no doubt. We wouldn't, with this roster crunch coming and so many guys decommitting and things like that, if we didn't think that all of these guys had a chance to have an impact for us, we probably would have been in the same boat, right? Like, these guys should be able to contribute early in this process. I don't think these are guys that we're going to need to necessarily wait till they're a junior to have a positive impact in the program. I think they can contribute as freshmen and should have a meaningful impact as sophomores for sure.
And let's talk about that roster cut, because how does that impact the rest of college baseball and for some of these athletes?
I mean, I think for schools like us, that talent is going to filter down a little bit, right? I think it's going to hold coaches a little bit more accountable to the guys that they bring in. It's, you know, I think some of the bigger programs that have to get to 40 bring in 55, you know, like they have 15 kids that they can miss on out of their recruiting classes, like, or maybe it's 50 and it's 10 kids they miss on, and they redshirt 5 and 5 decide to leave. Like, there's a lot of that going on. And I think the NCAA wants to kind of try to limit those, putting those kids in those situations. So I like it. I think it's going to benefit us for sure. I think, the only negative impact is just not having as large of a roster for the school or for development purposes. I think that kind of gets cut out a little bit. You're not going to be able to take as many chances on kids that maybe you project to be a factor as a junior. They need to have that chance to come in and help you as a freshman and hopefully having a significant role by their sophomore year. So, I listen, I never get caught up in things I can't control. This is just one of those things. I can't control it. I just got to adjust to the times and make the most out of it. And that's what we plan on doing.
And it is true. I mean, you could have a kid sitting at Vanderbilt who could be starting anywhere else, but he's just stuck behind some studs there as a freshman. And they have to carry a smaller roster. Maybe that kid doesn't get to go to Vanderbilt. Instead, comes to a smaller school who's in need of him. And I think it's better for the athletes in the long run. Obviously, right now it kind of stinks because people are going to have to move and decommit and that kind of sense. But in the long run, I think it'll be good for the athletes.
Oh, for sure. No question about it. I think, a lot of this has their best interest in mind, even though sometimes they don't see it that way. But, it's just a filtered down effect. I mean, I do think that St. Bonaventure is unique in its sense, though. Like, people that come here are looking for something different and unique, right? Like, this place is different than most places. So, you got to find the right kids. Whether there's a bigger pool or smaller pool, it's still going to take the right fit. And, I think it will help us in the long run. But I just don't get caught up and worried about it. I just try to work hard and do what I'm supposed to do,
Yeah, so as we kind of wrap up here, let's look ahead to 2025. You set some goals, expectations, really brief.
We did get a big junior college commitment last night.
Oh.
So there is another player that we'll be adding to this recruiting class that we had to battle for a little bit. So, yeah. So that'll be coming out this week, so you guys can look for that. And we beat out some big schools. He had about 4 or 5 offers on the table and decided to come play for us. So it's a left-handed pitcher that's 6'5" and 90 to 93. So we're excited about that. Can't make it an official announcement yet, but it'll be coming out this week. It may hit before this podcast actually goes live, so we'll see. But yeah, there's another one we're adding, a left-handed pitcher, junior college kid, that we're really excited about. We've been working.
And that's for the 2025 recruiting class.
Yeah, so it'll be here next fall.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's been a big weekend. We got that last night, and then we had some big news last week that should come and help us this spring.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna drop that live on here. Is that correct?
We are. We can drop that one.
All right.
The scholarship is signed. He has been enrolled, but we have a grad transfer that's going to be coming to join us in January. Mike Gunning. He's got 1 year of eligibility left and starting some grad school work. He's a graduate of Binghamton University. Really close with that program. So close that I sent Mike Gunning to Binghamton when I was at Herkimer. Mike played for me when I was at Herkimer the year we won the national championship. He was just there for 1 year after redshirting at Lafayette as a freshman. So he was redshirted at Lafayette, came to Herkimer, played for me, won a national title, graduated, moved on to Binghamton, played the last 2 seasons there. So he's got 1 year of eligibility left, and he's going to finish it here with us in the spring. And it's a big bat.
I don't know how you do it. That's a huge add to the lineup. I mean, when you look at those 16 home runs he hit at Binghamton last year, it can definitely play a factor into this lineup this coming year, and I think it's a big add for this team.
Yeah, I think it was probably the one thing that we were missing was a true home run guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. And, Mike has the ability to, he literally tied the school record there for a season. And the year before, he had a bunch of doubles too. He's been productive there for 2 years. So to bring that kind of production into our lineup this year is just a huge get for us. And he's a great kid that fits our culture. It's not going to mess up the chemistry that we got rolling right now. So it's big. It's a big addition for us. He's a middle of the order impact hitter for us that can play some outfield. Probably will see a little bit of time at DH, but he can run. He's fast. It's not like he can't run. He runs a 6'6", so he's a guy that's got some wheels, but absolutely has juice in his bat. He hit 2 home runs off Wake Forest last year, so it's real power, and we're really excited to have him.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an awesome year and another just great year. I mean, you look at the numbers you have done since joining this program. Every year have been improving. So I'm really looking forward to it, Coach.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I think the momentum that we have right now, the next 8 months, I think are going to be just huge for this program. I think, with the facility upgrades that are coming outside, we've got facility upgrades going on inside. We have high expectations for the team this year. I think, winning and having, a chance to kind of improve our record and our numbers overall with that momentum of the facility upgrades, it really sets us up for a bright future and, kind of the path that we want to be on. So it's awesome, man. It's been great. The support, administration, Bob Beretta coming in, creating a lot of excitement and energy around here. The support's just been awesome, and there's the Mike Gunning thing was not easy. There was probably 20 hurdles to kind of jump around and get through to figure things out. And the staff here that I kept bugging about all these questions I had were just great. It's always, well, can't do it this way, but if you do it this way, you can kind of figure things out that way. Mm-hmm. So it's, instead of just hearing that no or that roadblock, it's like, these are your options. They always lay out your options for you, and it's great. It's can't do it without our support system. Sarah Wolcott has been amazing. She somebody that works in our staffing here, works in compliance, and I wouldn't blame her if she got sick of hearing my voice, but she doesn't act that way. She's great. So yeah, just really lucky to be surrounded by a really strong athletic staff.
Yeah, and I have to say, doing a little bit of work with athletics, everyone is great, really helpful, and they just want the best for the athletes, for everyone involved, the coaches, and even kids like me just trying to get involved in sports media. So all around, shout out athletics. They're doing really great stuff here at Bonaventure.
Yeah.
So if you had a set, before we wrap up here, like one goal for the 2025 season, what would that be?
Got to get in the A10 tournament. It's just, that's the goal. We got to get in the tournament. We got to finish top 7 and make that mark for the program. And that's my expectation this year. I think we had to kind of set a goal, something that was achievable, but sometimes they're not always realistic to the time. This is the time. This is the time. This is the time to make our mark and take that jump and get in the tournament. Because once you get in the tournament and you got a big arm and you got a big bat, things can happen. So, I think we've got a lot of depth. We've got a lot of talent. I think we have a really strong understanding of who we are as a team and who's going to play the significant roles. And there's depth there to kind of balance all of that. So we feel great, man. We're headed into this holiday break with a full understanding of who we are and happy with who we are and just excited to spend some time with family, enjoy the holidays so we can come back and get after this. It's going to be something I think about all holiday break. But
yeah, man, we will have to wait, unfortunately, but definitely going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you're very hyped up to get there. But no, enjoy the holidays, and we're wishing everyone listening a happy holidays and a safe holiday season. Spend time with family, and we'll see you guys in 2025 when Bonaventure baseball gets going right here on the Baseball Rundown.